Hi, welcome to the Boulder Bookstore YouTube channel. My name is Liesl Freudenstein and I am the children's buyer here. We have switched locations, so that's pretty cool. I have some fiction behind me now, so that's pretty awesome. Speaking of fiction, this is sort of the beginning of Black History Month, so I thought I'd highlight some of the new books that are coming out that are representative of the best of Black fiction and things that are coming out now. The first one I would like to mention is Nikki Grimes has a book called Legacy. And I know Andrea Gorman is the poet right now, but Nikki Grimes is also a really fabulous poet. And this is a book that's based on the women poets of the Harlem Renaissance. And what she's done is she's taking a poetry style called the Golden Shovel, where you take a little bit of an original poem, put it all to the right, and then write a new poem that ends in the words that you have selected at the end. I realize that probably doesn't make sense when I describe it, but she does have a little explanation in there. So basically she has taken some of the poems that were written by the great female poets during the Harlem Renaissance and reworked them in a new way and created some new poems, and there are some illustrations. So if you want to dive into some poetry, this one is really great. Nikki Grimes. Another middle grade book that I'm actually really excited about. I started this one and it's been super fun so far. Root Magic by Eden Royce. Twins, Jez and Jay, live down in South Carolina. Their grandmother has just passed away, and she was a practitioner of something called root magic, which takes its roots in West African magic and culture and things like that. And they're determined to pick up where she left off, and they get their Uncle Doc to teach them root magic to help protect them and their community against evils and things like that. It is, Eden Joyce herself is part of the Gula Geechee Nation, which is where this area is, that's sort of West African, South Carolina, old slave things. So anyway, Root Magic, really fun, middle grade book. Speaking of twins, it's kind of interesting that this theme came up for some reason. Varian Johnson, he himself a twin, so he's written this really wonderful graphic novel about two girls who are twins, and so far they've done everything together. They're best friends, they do all the classes together, they have a bunch of hobbies that go together. But they start 6th grade, and one of the twins wants to break off and become one of the popular girls and run for president, and basically it feels to one twin that she's leaving her behind. So it's middle school drama involving twins by Varian Johnson. So that looks good. Oh, did I mention it was a graphic novel? Because it is. Another one that's gotten a lot of buzz that I also read, and I really liked it, it was very fun. Amari and the Knight Brothers. Amari's brother has disappeared, and so she and her single mom, feel that keenly, of course, and Amari keeps questioning how come nobody is looking for him, what happened to him. She gets an invitation to the very same fancy summer camp that her brother went to, and so she takes this opportunity to figure out a little more about where he had been and what he had been doing when he disappeared. It turns out that he was actually a member of a secret government agency that sort of kept cryptids in check. So think Men in Black, but not aliens, more cryptids and magic and things like that. And Amari shows a lot of guts and determination, but not the kind of guts that Will Smith came out of in Men in Black, but the kind of guts where you're, brave and determined to do that sort of thing. It's got lots of twists and turns, a lot of energy, a lot of black girl magic, but also just a powerhouse of a really fun middle grade graphic novel, not graphic novel, regular novel. Ta-Nehisi Coates has adapted his memoir, The Beautiful Struggle, for young adults, and so that's something that's going to be really interesting and fun to read, because he's a great writer. Speaking of great writers, Angie Thomas, you may remember her from The Hate You Give, has a prequel to The Hate You Give called Concrete Rose. This takes place 17 years before the events of The Hate You Give, and it kind of follows this young black man who is involved in the drug running and gang life and things like that, but then he finds out that he's actually a father and that there's a little baby to take care of, and so he gives up that life. But it's not as easy as it sounds, as I'm sure you can appreciate. So, Concrete Rose. This one is also on my reading list for this month, along with The Root Magic that I previously mentioned. Wings of Ebony by J.L. Rue and her sister and her mother live in Houston, and things are going along pretty well until the day her mother is shot on the stoop. And Rue's father takes Rue to this other world where apparently he's a god. So, but she's not supposed to exist because they're not supposed to be half humans, half gods. But she's struggling, so she's struggling there. She decides to go back to Houston, which breaks all the rules of this of Gizon, which is where she lives right now, to go visit her sister. And then, of course, she discovers that black kids are being forced into some sort of nefarious thing and violence, and it sounds great. So I'm really excited about that one. Plus, I really like the cover. Yeah, it sounds confusing to explain, but I think once I get into it, that it'll be really, really fantastic. I like fantasy, so I'm excited for that one. The other one that I read on my list this month is One of the Good Ones. This takes place after, there are 3 sisters. The middle one has been killed while she was protesting police brutality. She herself gets arrested and thrown into jail, and subsequently dies while in custody. So her 2 other sisters, the youngest one and the oldest one, decide to take a road trip using the Green Book that Kenzie had mapped out a road trip by, so they decide to do all the stops in her honor. And the title, One of the Good Ones, sort of asks us, and the theme goes throughout the book, why does one have to be one of the good ones in order to be honored and appreciated? Why can't you just be a person who you are and loved for who you are? Anyway, One of the Good Ones. It was really good. I enjoyed it. I hope you find something this month to read that celebrates Black heritage in some ways, and I hope you got some good ideas. And if you like what you see, please subscribe. Thank you. Bye.